Wednesday 1, Sunderland 2. Now, before the game, we knew it was going to be a tough match in prospect. Exciting young Sunderland team, already up there in the playoff places. We're both down in third division of the year. Obviously, they're a year ahead of us in their progress. So a tough match in prospect. And then in the press conference in the week, it's revealed that Wednesday's now got an illness sweeping through the camp, which meant even more changes. I mean, I could see Danny's face in that press conference. It looked like me going to work on a Monday morning. So even more enforced changes. Let's have a quick look at the team. Wednesday went with Beadle in goal. There was a start at right back for Paul Valentin in the absence of Jan Valery. Hekwe and Lowe, the centre-backs. A first start for Sheffield Wednesday, their first ever Japanese player. Hatsuse starting at left back. A midfield three of Charles, Ingleson and Bannon. And up front, a start for Callum Patterson on the right-hand side of a three-pronged attack with Windass in the middle and Jeddy Gassama on the left. Wednesday started brightly, got off on front foot. I think they were trying to sort of catch Sunderland off guard, if I'm honest with you. Similar tactics that we employed at Burnley. Fourth minute of the game, there was a pause in play. Applause broke out around all four sides of the ground in memory of young Wednesday fan Jackson Knowles, who passed away from meningitis, rare form of meningitis. It's, as a parent, it's absolutely unimaginable. In fact, not something you want to imagine, the grief that the family's going through. But an exceptional showing, really. All four sides of the ground, the staff, the players, the referee paused the game as well. I think that was a credit to everybody. Football can be an ugly place, but I think that was a lovely showing of remembrance for the young lad, and hopefully as well a showing of support for a grieving family in what must be a terrible time. It was really poignant, actually, with the picture upon the scoreboard. Devastating for him. 9th minute, Wednesday. As I said, they've started positively. We're trying to get Sunderland on the back foot. I think it's working to a larger extent. As I said, we've got a very busy front three with Gassama, Windass and Patterson up there. Pato's drifting in off that right-hand side into central areas and also giving us something to it with a longer ball, because obviously he's the way he puts himself about in the air. Wednesday got a couple of corners in there, putting some deliveries into the box, and then there's a quite clear handball. Ball comes in from our left-hand side. Lad goes up for header, and then he sort of sees his mate in front of him, and I think he neshes it, if you know what I mean. I think he don't want to risk any damage to Mush, so he sticks his arm right up there above his head, and it clearly hits his hand, and it's an handball. But Charles then gets sort of, I don't want to say brought down. He goes over the leg of the defender. I didn't particularly think that was a penalty. Probably seen plenty of that type of tackle given against us, but I weren't expecting us to get that. But I did think we should have had one for the handball. Another little good bit of build-up play from Wednesday. They linked down the right-hand side. Barry Bannon inside right position, sort of chops inside on left foot, clips a lovely little ball to the back stick. Gassama's coming, absolutely lashes at it, gets a bit of outside at boot on it and spoons it. It weren't an easy chance by any means, I think if he takes a bit off it and guides it from the distance out he maybe can't generate the power that he's wanting on it, but he's got to keep it down. So after I would say a dominant opening 15 minutes by Wednesday, Sunderland, they start easing back into the game a little bit, having a little bit of their own possession, and it's quite clear that they're trying to make pitch as big as possible. They really, hugging touch lines out there and creating spaces for players to get on inside and open up as Wednesday's back line gets spread out. Ironically, as they have their best little spell in that opening 15-20 minute, Wednesday probably have the best chances. Really good slick counter-attack football through the middle, and a lovely slip round corner from Bannon after Gassam had driven on and had a little give and go with him. Fed down right hand side. Valentin does super, drives on, head up, cuts the ball back. Windass flashes it over the bar, gets loads of power on it, but the way the ball's been pulled into him, I think he's just got to guide it. I don't think he really has to sort of swing a leg at it. I think that the area where he is, let's get a decent side foot connection on it and guide it on. A really good opportunity missed there for Wednesday. Brilliant bit of play from Dan Neil in midfield from Sunderland. Wednesday were on attack. He managed to break up play, but as I said, Wednesday were really trying to push Sunderland back. So there were 3 players went in around him to get ball back. He turned one way, he turned the other way, and he ended up coming out of all 3 of them and playing a nice little simple 15-yard pass. Terrific bit of defensive midfield work. Again, another bit of slick play, left-hand side, low, and Hatsusi link up, ball into Bannon. There's a little flick there. And again, Valentino, he's pushing on like a winger at this stage. Patterson's coming inside a lot, as I've already mentioned. Lovely little sort of clip ball up there, Patterson. Super glancing header that just sort of clips backside at crossbar. Difficult chance, but he did really well actually to guide it across. But there's that, you sat there watching it and there's that sensation taking over you as you're watching it, that it's starting to fall into an all too familiar pattern of Wednesday looking really quick and sharp in midfield, having plenty of ball, getting in wide areas, putting delivery into box, but not really testing goalkeeper. And that's a pattern that we saw against Burnley, it's a pattern that we saw against Coventry, and sadly it's one we've seen again today. Sunderland started forcing their own corners, the game started levelling up, and as a neutral, I think it was a really good championship game of football. 2 teams trying to play football in the right way, if that is such a thing, trying to attack, trying to knock it about nicely. There were some really nice bits of play from both teams, and their set pieces were interesting. They really mixed it up. They were putting some low stuff in on their post, trying to get runners losing man and flick-ons. They were putting some deeper ones to back post. They did one which really nearly caught us out. They got a cluster of men in box, and as soon as delivery coming in from this side, as soon as lads running up to deliver ball, all their lads run to near side at 18-yard box. All Wednesday defenders go with him. He chips one over to back stick. 2 men there completely unmarked. We fell for that hook, line and sinker. Probably got out of jail a little bit there. That was a decent set piece routine from them. 33 minutes, Wednesday behind. And there seems to be a little pattern here. There probably isn't a pattern, it's probably just the way my brain works, but it feels to me that every time I'm watching Wednesday and I'm thinking, we're having a really good little spell here, knocking it about well, getting full-backs forward, wingers are getting at people, forwards looking lively. It always seems to be in these spells that we go a goal behind, and it's concentration, isn't it? And as a defender, when ball's at the other end of the pitch, that's actually when you've got to be the most switched on, because it's the time when you're most likely to switch off. It's the same as a goalkeeper. You can be watching it, we're doing well here, what we're going to do with it. Next thing, ping, where's my man? And I'm afraid it's a little bit of that situation for a goal. It's just a pinged ball. Lowe gets his jump wrong. I don't like to pull him out because I think he's had a terrific debut season overall. He's a left back, playing out of position in centre. And over the season as a centre-half, I think he's had a very good season. It's not his natural position, but I think he's had a really good season. And his defensive work on the floor, I think, has been superb. I really do. On the floor, when players are running at him, centre forwards are trying to twist and turn, I think he's had a really, really good season. But he is a fullback, he's not the biggest lad, was he? 5'9", 5'10". And aerially, been caught out a couple of times. There was a goal against Coventry, and it only takes a couple of inches mistiming on jump, Lad gets in behind him. It's a clear handball. I mean, it shouldn't be a goal in anybody's book. It's a clear control at ball with arm. Not saying it was deliberate, but it clearly happened. And referees make mistakes, we talk about this every week. Well, maybe you didn't see it, or it's 100 mile an hour. It could have ricocheted off anybody's foot. It's all in a melee or whatever. But this one, there's only the two players in there, and the referee has got an excellent position. He's literally got no excuse. As that ball goes over Lowe's head, the referee's 10 yards behind him, facing towards penalty spot from outside box. There is no way in the world he doesn't see that. No way in the world. He's in a very similar position, actually, to the handball that he'd missed 10 minutes previously. It's they have these referee assessors sat up in stand. He will get hammered for that. I've no doubt. So shouldn't be a goal. But once again, we find ourselves a goal down after a really promising start. 6 minutes, 7 minutes after that, Lowe goes down again. I don't know if he's took a knock during their goal, because when the lad took it down, and this is what I talk about Lowe being a good defender on the floor, he's missed the header, it's a terrible mistake. The lad controls it with his arm, but Lowe does brilliantly to recover, and he's a bit unlucky that he gets the blocking on the shot, but his block actually loops it up and takes it over Beadle, which is a shame. But he clearly got some sort of knock on his knee while that was happening, so then he goes off. He looked a bit emotional as well, I hope that's not a bad one. We are so short back there that, I'm looking at car boot today and thinking maybe I should give me boots a bit of a dub. That's how bad it's looking back there. So Liam Palmer comes on for him, to sort of right-sided centre-half, and Ekekwe shuffles across a bit. And Wednesday have to try and, deal with that just going into break. We always talk about Danny trying to be a positive manager, even though he's got a very threadbare squad, and he does make a change at half-time without making any substitutions. Patterson comes in off the right, he sort of swaps loosely with Windass, and he gives us a different outlet. Obviously, we're missing Michael Smith, so we haven't got that aerial strength up front that you would like up there, and we're missing that, so he puts Patterson up there to see if he can do that sort of job for us, and he does. He has a really good start to the second half, even before the goal, the equaliser, really putting himself about, making it uncomfortable for their centre-halves. And Wednesday are really closing down from the front again, and I think Callum Patterson playing down the middle is the catalyst for that, because he's got such a work ethic and such a desire to try and win the ball back. It spreads through the team, it's like contagious, so Windass and Gassama and Patterson are up there really putting them under the cosh, and he was fully deserving of his goal when it came. Now Sunderland will be annoyed because it comes from their throwing. It's a sloppy touch out, a sloppy pass out. Ingleson's sharp into it, gets onto byline, and he puts in a wonderful little ball. It's easy in that situation to sort of smash one across. Cat's banging at the door. This other lad who played for me for years, Braille, I'm talking about you. And I was just saying, don't smash your crosses all the time. Put a little flipper in. put a little flip in it. I don't really know what you mean, Jim. But that cross by Ingleson, that's a flipper. I'm telling you 20 years too late, but that's a flipper. Brilliant little cross. Pato, up, bang, 1-1, back in the game. And from there, I'm thinking, we can go on and take this. Which shows how naive I am, even at my age. Alright, cat. So Wednesday, turning the screw, got a goal back. They come out blistering in that second half. Pato's equalised, lovely ball into the box, looking lively. And when you've got that goal back then, you don't want to get too carried away. And we don't. We calm it down a little bit and we're like, right, okay, we're back in it. Let's not do out daft now. Let's make sure and let's try and build on it. And then Patterson goes down. Foot injury, don't know what it is. Looked absolutely pissed off. And I always think you can tell with an injury about looking at players' faces. And he looked absolutely wounded, gutted. And understandable because he's not had many starts this season, has he? He's had goal involvements when he has played and when he's come off the bench. And he'll have been itching to get a full 90 under his belt and, sort of prove to Gaffer, if you want a big lad up top who's going to lead line and put him centre back, consider me as an option. Ugbo's not really finding it net. Smithy's looking sharper off the bench, so if you want somebody to start and, bash opposition defences around for 75 minutes, I'm your man. And then he picks that knock up, he'll be absolutely gutted. And I'm gutted as well because, as I said, the way that Patterson was putting centre back and closing down, I thought he was a catalyst for the way that we were winning the ball back out the pitch. And I thought we lost that when he went off. That Mayenda got down right hand side, lovely tricky little bit of play. He sort of dropped in, slowed his pace down and then burst past man, and that's Jimmy Greaves always used to say that, didn't he? He said, you can talk about fitness and this and over. He went, a player who was quicker for 2 yards is a dangerous player, and he were there, got to the byline, cut a ball back. I think the lad's name was Brown, who'd made a bursting run from midfield to try and get at the end of it, and all credit to Svante Ingleson because he's kept his eye on his man all the way in there, and everybody's got a bloody doing that. Sorry. But he's followed his man all the way in. He's not being dozy and let him drift off him and watching, what's our winger doing? Is somebody going to... Oh, he's on his bike, I'm going with the bastard. And he gets in there, fantastic block from Ingleson. Typically, as Wednesday attacking again, we had a lot of possession in their half-foot pitch in that second half. And they did largely what Coventry had done the other week. I was looking... Valentine's getting ball in a crossing area and he's looking up to see what he can hit. They've got 6, 7, 8, at times 9 men in their box defending it, hacking it away, heading it away, which is what you've got to do. It's a little bit of momentum for Wednesday, and then Gassama, who's had an hit and miss game, a really poor square pass on inside, don't look, it's a bit of a blind, and it's like he passes it and then looks and oh shit. We lose ball, there's a couple of opportunities I think to maybe have a nibble and get it back, but it gets worked to inside right position. And it's just dinked over to the back. I mean, it's a great goal. I'm sick of the sight of that bastard centre forward of theirs, though, by the way. I mean, does he only play against us? I've got visions of him like asleep in a cave somewhere, hibernating, and then villagers ringing bell. Oh, Sheffield Wednesday on Saturday, whatever, Sheffield Wednesday on Friday night, and him awakening from his slumber and coming down to, ravage the village. I don't know where that analogy's come from. Anyway, he's in round back stick, lively as they come. Fantastic header, by the way. But, again, Wednesday, Equi's ball watching. They have that little couple of passes out wide right. Looking, twigs at last minute. You can see You can see it face when ball's about to be struck and suddenly, oh shit, where's my man? And he'll get slaughtered. I know he'll get slaughtered for it. And he'll be disappointed himself, you know. Nobody knows more than a player that's made an error, you know. But realistically, you know, at this stage of game, I'm looking at pitch and Wednesday's got 4 or 5 players out there who you know, in third division with us of the year. Michael Ehekwe, at the beginning of the season, if you're being realistic about it, was probably 5th choice centre back. You know, but I know he's had some injury issues as well, but even fit, he weren't getting near squad. He's come in, he's fought his way back. You know, and he's come in and done a decent job of late, but, you know, he's a early 30s defender that we signed from Rotherham to help get us out at third division. You know, and he's having to come into a threadbare defence, usually playing alongside a full-back who's out of position, and, you know, at top end at Championship, and it is a big ask. So he's got that one wrong. He's ball watching, he's got underneath it. Great finish by there, lad. It's 2-1. And although Wednesday scored a lot of late goals, a lot of second half goals, we've conceded a lot of second half goals, and I knew then, even with, I don't know, what was it, 15, 20 minutes to go, I thought, that's another game away from us. And it is a rinse and repeat cycle we seem to be on. Really nice football through midfield. I do like the shape. I'm going to be positive here at this stage and say there's some things that I do like. I like the way that we're trying to play football. I like the way we're trying to move it. I do prefer the back 4, if I'm honest with you. I like having that 3 in the middle, whether it's Ingleson, Bannon and Charles, or Armstrong, Bannon and Charles. They all bring different little elements. I like the way we're moving the ball. We're creating what I'd call half opportunities. And what I mean by that is they're not the ones where it's a tapping at back stick unmarked. Because we don't score them goals. You know, teams don't gift us goals. We have to work for goals. But I'm saying that ironically, probably that goal we scored tonight is probably nearest into a gift we've had this season. But as a rule, we have to work for goals or rely on someone hitting a wonder goal from 35 yards. But we do create a lot of half chances. And this is a difference. What's the difference between a full chance and a half chance? Well, when you get the next level player, they make half chances into full chances by hitting target from difficult angles, by managing to get headers on target from difficult angles, or wet ball slightly behind them, and that's about levels, isn't it? And we are where we are. I've drifted here. It's the frustration at evening. It's the frustration that lasts probably 3 games, actually. Danny again trying to be positive, triple substitution. You know, Marvin Johnson comes on, Jamal Lowe comes on, Sissoko comes on. But you just knew, really. You just knew that they were not coming. Lowered in a sort of odd central position. You know, I'm not sold on that. I still think he's best off left. Sissoko, there's a player in Sissoko, clearly. But I think he might end up suffering from a perception fate that Marvin Johnson's had for long spells of his time here, which is, I think, because of the way he walks and the way he runs, and appears to have a bit of a easy-ozy attitude to the game. I think he's one of the players that when he's not playing well or he's not on it, I think folks are going to be like, keep strolling about me. And I think it's just the way he moves, you know, and he's... I don't think your body language isn't always fully in sync with your attitude. I think you can have a really good attitude, but maybe your body language looks a bit languid. I mean, look at Chris Waddle. Look at Chris Waddle. His body language. I mean, even at 30 years old, he used to stand out there on wing, you know, a bit hunched over. And if you knew naught about football, you'd be like, well, who's that fella out there? What's he doing? But when he got on ball, that's the difference, isn't it? That's the difference. Yeah, a frustrating evening of football because we played well. I mean, we had a go at it last 5 minutes. We're piling on. We've made these changes. But they've got numbers back, Sunderland. They've switched to a sort of 5-4-1. Ed, kick, tackle. That Mapham, is he called? Mapham. Barry Bannon has a shot, you know, just probably inside box. He's out there stopping it with his bollocks. You know, that's defending. Football is entertainment. We heard about that a lot. Football is entertainment and this sort of, but the ugly sides of it have got to be done as well, and stuff like that. I don't see enough of that from us, to be honest with you. I'm not saying I want folks getting clobbered in bollocks with a football every week, but no, actually, I am. That's exactly what I'm saying. I want to see people chucking their bollocks in front of us. Stop ball however you can. And Coventry were doing it. I mean, who was it other week? Dreadful team that we played. Who was it? But their two centre halves. It were Luton. McGuinness and big lad, Northman from Barnsley. Block, head, stopping shots with their faces. That's, you know, defending. I'm going to finish on positives though. And I did get a couple of comments on last video, one before. Have you stopped doing man at match? Man at match is difficult. I thought Callum Patterson were going to be man at match till he unfortunately had to go off. I do think that were part of the catalyst for Sunderland having that spell because we couldn't keep that pressure up. I think Charles would be man of the match. He's good at everything, isn't he? You know, there were times today he was slipping in and making a back three when Valentin and Hatsusi were bombing on. He can stride out from back like an old school sweeper, like Italian German sweeper from 70s. He can beat a man, he can dribble. He's just absolutely fantastic. I was thinking the other day, you know, if I want lottery, I have to buy my son a new house. I would probably do that. Stick 10 million quid in an envelope, send it to Danny Rule in a birthday card. Happy birthday, Danny. Get him. What a player. Another positive that I want to finish on was the Japanese lad, Matsusi, at left fullback. We've lost the game, by the by now almost. But I really liked him at left fullback. There was a moment he got done by their winger. I'm not sure if he's a fully defensive fullback. But what I did like is that his right foot, I really thought that gives it a different dimension, especially in that first 20 minutes when Wednesday were on top in both halves. Because he can go on outside, he's got a really good pass on outside. Because he's got that right foot, you don't get that delay where he's trying to engineer it onto the left all the time. Because he's comfortable with that, people can lay a ball back to him, and if he's been closed down, he's not afraid to just open his body and knock a first time inside ball to Baz with his right foot. And I think that in terms of team play and style of play and the way that we move the ball about, I think that's going to be a real bonus for us. It just gives us more flow down that side. I was impressed with that. It's not often you think you're going to be saying that, is it? Oh, I'm really impressed with our left back coming in on his right foot. But I thought that was a real positive from that display. like I said, it just seemed to give us a bit of a flow down that side. That I can go that way, I can go that way, and it opens things up, doesn't it? If you because a lot of fullbacks, all left foot, touch, dink, might occasionally go like that. But to be able to go, whoa, and just turn out, I liked it. Yeah, I would go for Charles again, I think, though. Have a look at table. I'm not sure. When I have a look at table, I shouldn't be depressed. I shouldn't be depressed because before the season, 10th to 15th, yeah, I'm happy with that. Because we're so close, that's why it's frustrating. Let's have a quick butchers. What did that do to the table? 13th position, 45 points. Yeah, now 6 points outside playoffs. Blackburn, Coventry, Bristol City, Watford, Norwich, Middlesbrough, Millwall above us now on goal average. Well, like I said, if we finished 13th, if you'd offered me that before start season, after last year, and lack of what I'd call genuine investment in squad in both summer and January, I'd be like, yeah, that's 13th. Frustrating, though, isn't it? Another really good footballing performance. As I said, as a neutral, if you've just, had a crap week at work, which I think most of us do, and you've sat down after your tea and thought, oh, is there a game on? Oh, Wednesday Sunderland, I might watch that. Cracking game. Cracking game of football. Two teams trying to play, trying to get it down and knock ball about. Seen some goals. Great. As a Wednesday fan, frustrating as fuck. So next game away at Plymouth Argyle. It is actually a Saturday, 3 o'clock job. So that's a turn up for books. Very, very kind of them to allow the working man to have football on a Saturday, like he should be able to. And a chance for us to get, back on bike. It's rinse and repeat. Honestly, I shouldn't make notes. I should not make notes. I should just photocopy one from Coventry game and just read them every week. Really frustrated. In fact, I could probably do a video about why I'm frustrated. In fact, I will. When I've had a cup of tea and made sure that's not a mouse that she's dragged in.